Because cricket has often been called the gentleman's game, but if one wants to know how to disrespect such a sport, one may not need to look too far. The picture on your screen speaks volumes. This is Pakistan cricketer Sahibzada Farhan celebrating after he scored his half century. Now, no one can stop a player from celebrating his achievement, but the manner in which he celebrates has riled up 1.4 billion Indians. India is still seething after the dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam that snuffed out 26 innocent lives. But Pakistan's cricketer Sahibzada Farhan chose to mark his achievement with a gunfire celebration. Now, one cannot ignore the tensions between India and Pakistan following the terror attack. And this rather blatant provocation using the cricket pitch to provoke Indians is yet another display of why Pakistan will probably never learn its lessons. But it doesn't end there. Pakistan bowler Haris Rauf took a step further with a fighter jet gesture. He followed it up with a 6-0 hand signal and referenced Pakistan's widely mocked claim of downing 6 Indian jets during Operation Sindoor and then mimicked planes crashing. This was not cricket. This was disgrace and desperation. An attempt to use the cricket pitch to peddle their false narrative simply because they couldn't handle the defeat. Neither could they defeat India on the battlefield or on the cricket field. What's even more laughable now is how Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif has openly backed these controversial gestures. Trying to mislead the world once again, Pakistan says India will not forget the 6-0 number until doomsday. The country's failed to act on homegrown terror and has struggled to fight back against it. Yet, their players and the government tries to peddle fakery on the world stage. But as always, they find no takers. The shameless stunt from Pakistan also comes at a time when the country is unable to protect their own citizens. Even worse, they're actually bombarding their own. Over 30 civilians, including children, were killed by midnight strikes by the Pakistan Air Force in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The message is very clear. It's not Indian jets that went down, but Pakistan as a nation that's going down a slippery slope, failing to stay relevant. All Pakistan can be proud of at the end of the day is their display of false sense of bravado on the pitch and how they chose to openly expose themselves. The fact that they will not act on terror and instead defend and even embrace the tag of perpetrators of terrorism. Or there's some breaking news. 2 matches to India, the Asia Cup. Pakistan refuses to answer questions from the Indian media, and Pakistan's media manager has turned a blind eye to the raised hands from the touring Indian media contingent. On the other hand, Team India media manager has answered questions from Pakistan journalists, just going to show the desperation that's coming in from the side of Pakistan. We'll go across to Karishma joining us live from Dubai. Karishma, very clearly a picture in contrast. On the one hand, you have the Indian media that is being asking questions, and in fact, Pakistan journalists, questions have been answered by the Indian team. However, when it comes to Pakistan, not just the embarrassment of losing the matches, but also the desperation that is so clearly shown through these gestures on field that really is leading them to not even be able to take those questions.
Well, Madhav, absolutely, and not just that, they have even gone on to cancel their pre-match conferences when the match is versus India. When we talk about other matches, they're doing their pre-match press conferences, post-match press conferences without any issues. But when it comes to India, they just do not want to answer questions. The Indian team media manager is okay to let Pakistan journalists ask questions, but when the same thing happens in a Pakistan press conference, the Pakistan team manager does not see the Indian media's raised hands when they want to ask questions, and we want to ask as to why they are cancelling the press conferences, why there is no pre-match conference, but they have no answers for us, and hence they are refusing to even let us ask questions. So this is the desperation that the Pakistan cricket team and the management is stooping to now after not being able to even win one single match in the Asia Cup against India.
Embarrassment of a nation, embarrassment of a cricket team. That's all one can call it, Karishma. Thanks so much for joining us with that. Let's quickly take it across to our guest. Sushil Pandit is an activist joining us. With us also is Vedam Jaishankar, sports journalist. We have Major Samarpal Toor, retired defense analyst. Rizwan Haider is a Pakistan sports journalist. Dr. Atikur Rahman is a professor of international relations and political analyst joining us. Let me start with you first. Vedam Jaishankar, have you heard of such an example in recent sporting history where a cricket team doesn't take even questions from another country's media contingent? It's absolutely bizarre and just goes to show how they've been outplayed on field, how their bizarre antics have only earned them more criticism off-field.
Yeah, Madhav, straight away what it really means is they have no excuse. They have no defense. Any question thrown at them, they won't be able to answer. It's as bad as that. But having said that, I mean, let's understand that many of the cricketers, especially from Pakistan, are really not highly educated people. They don't even know what is happening outside their sphere of influence. So a lot of this talk about, terrorism and killing and shooting, it's just what their street talk is. And they're going according to the street talk. They're not well read, they're not well educated. It's just the passions are running high. I don't even know whether we have to take these things very seriously. Because we come from a different background, we come from a different setting, and suddenly you see these uneducated guys talking what they want to talk, or semi-literate people. It's a joke. But of course, I also want the ICC to come down on these kind of things, because if you really realize that there was once in the Olympics, there was a black fist salute by the black athletes, and they were sent home, So the governing body has a responsibility to ensure that the sporting arena is not utilized for political purposes. You have to protect the interests of the sport, the beauty of the sport, the integrity of the sport. All that should be protected. If you go down this path, you never know what is going to happen next time. People coming with writings and placards and all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
And that is not in the good interest of cricket. So if cricket has to thrive, then the ICC has to come down on these very hard to ensure the integrity of the sport, the integrity of the tournament is protected. Otherwise, I don't know if we go down this path where it's going to end.
Absolutely. And Rizwan Haider, let Rizwan Haider come in. He's a Pakistan sports journalist. Why should the ICC A, not crack down on this, and B, for something as not shaking hands, Pakistan goes running like a crybaby to the ICC complaining, oh, look what happened, this is not correct. You threatened to boycott the match, which also was called out. Because even that was a farce, as we all know. And the pretext is that Andy Poycroft apparently apologized for what was allegedly a miscommunication. So, the irony, the double standards are all writ large. Rizwan Haider.
I don't know who told you that Pakistan went to ICC, that Indian players, they didn't shake hand with us, so they complained.
You didn't threaten to withdraw from Asia Cup?
What?
The team didn't threaten to withdraw from Asia Cup. The team was still at the hotel an hour before the match. All that is a figment of everyone's imagination.
The reason that you said that they refused to play the match against UAE because Indian players didn't shake hand with us. So that was not the reason. So you need to tell the truth. Yes,
really?
That was obviously that you should be quite. I don't know what to say. You are not well aware with the fact that Pakistan, they did not say at all that the Indian players, they did not shake hand with us, so we are going from the Asia Cup. Who told you that? Just on your table, you're just writing your own
What
stories.
about complaining about Pycroft? That's also a fake news.
They had issues with Paycroft, but it doesn't mean that Indian players, they didn't shake hands and Pakistan said, okay, bye-bye, we are going.
So what is the issue with Pycroft?
Because
what is the issue with Pycroft?
That they didn't communicate properly. And the image that you are showing on your TV, the Haris Rauf, he whatever he's doing, but you're saying, let's talk about the integrity of the sport. But the Pakistani captain, he didn't talk about the Operation Sindoor or Operation Banyan al-Mursus.
What is he saying?
Brought the politics
what does 6-0 mean? What is he trying to say with 6-0? Tell us.
Yeah, obviously, I know what he's trying to do. You know what he's trying to do.
So what does that mean? Tell us.
But he's not
the one. It's got nothing to do with Sindoor, according to you. What is it then?
Indian team, because the government asked them to bring the politics into the sports.
Mr. Rizwan Haider, you just said this has nothing to do with Sindoor. So tell us, what is 6-0? What is the fake news he's trying to propagate through 6-0? Tell us the fake news.
Yeah, obviously, you know what he's trying to say. If you want me to say it, then I will say it. But you know what he's trying to say.
Tell us.
But he's not the guy who Operation Sindoor and stuff like that. Your captain, Indian captain, he brought the politics into the sports.
Your only thing that's happening is you're ending up embarrassing your own nation on international platform in another country. That's all that's happening. Nothing more than that.
No,
because not only does the world not believe your narrative, not only have you been exposed before the world, here in an international forum, you stand completely exposed.
They did not bring the politics into the sports. That was the Indian government.
So what is this?
Indian captain.
So what is this
politics into the sports.
What is that AK-47 gesture? That is calling for peace by trying to shoot a gun.
Well, he's not the first cricketer who celebrated like this. Your MS Dhoni, he has celebrated the similar way.
But there is a context, sir. The only thing that Mr. Farhan has done is he's trying to shoot himself. That's the only thing that comes out of this.
No, you said that
he's even pointing the imaginary gun the wrong way.
MS Dhoni, he has celebrated exactly in similar fashion.
Yes.
So what?
Small difference. Dhoni isn't shooting himself in the foot, or rather the chest, metaphorically speaking, of course. You want to come in on this, Sushil Pandit?
So he's not the first guy who celebrated in this manner. There are other, forget others.
Okay.
I'm talking about MS Dhoni.
Okay, let Mr. Pandit come in. Sushil Pandit.
As well.
This isn't even funny. You know, the amount of venomous hate they carry when they enter the cricket field, they turn it into another battleground. That is their problem. They can't get rid of their hatred. They can't get rid of their venom towards us. So they reduce everything, trade, diplomacy, their textbooks, everything about hating us, about putting us down, which is what reflects here. And that is why when they lose, the entire country goes berserk. They break their TV sets, they bang their heads, they beat each other up, they abuse their players. It is this enormous hatred that gets them to do this. Their antics on the field, that's the problem. The entire nation and generations brought up on hate against India and Hindus is what reflects in their cricket match as well, as it does in everything else that they do. So that's the problem, nothing else. And that is the reason why we mustn't play cricket with them. I wonder, why do we play cricket with them? Cricket is played, or any game is played among friends. It has a spirit about it. When it is reduced to war with other means, then it loses all relevance. This country should be ignored. Even our journalists should not ask them any questions. They are absolutely irrelevant. Even their cricket is irrelevant to their own country. Their own fans and supporters wish that they didn't play cricket.
Right.
That's what they've reduced themselves to.
Let me bring in Dr. Atikur Rahman. Dr. Atikur Rahman, you know, rather than 6-0, there's another figure that in fact people would do very well to remember, especially the Pakistan cricket team. And that figure is the 11 air bases and the 9 terror camps in Pakistan that were demolished. A figure that the Indian Air Force has put out. Perhaps instead of 6-0, he should be gesticulating 20-0. That would be more apt. You know, 11 plus 9, 20. That's the figure. That should be on the minds of all people in Pakistan.
First of all, thank you so much. It's a very important topic. I mean, we should, both India and Pakistan, we should spare at least sports from the toxic politics. But on the other hand, I must advise you to keep in mind the history of this sports toxicity between two countries. Who initiated this? Who just raised a concern that we will never play in Pakistan and we just want our matches to be shifted somewhere else, and the entire champion trophy should be based on the hybrid mode and something like that. I mean,
Mr. Rahman, how many countries, how many cricket teams have been attacked by terrorists? Tell us. No, tell us how many cricket teams. Sri Lanka? Was it the English or the Australian team? I don't recollect very clearly. There are very real security concerns in your country, which is a fountainhead of terror, which is globally recognized. Osama bin Laden onwards, everyone knows. So don't try and equate your pathetic handling of terrorism within your country, which you attempt to propagate as a measure of state policy and trying to promote it. Do not try and equate that. Do not try and equate that. What's worse is that today you are bombarding your own citizens. Just look at these shots. Children not spared. Once again, Dr. Atikur Rahman, once again. Just look at the only people the Pakistan Air Force can effectively attack, because you failed miserably against India. The only people you can attack are your own citizens. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that your armed forces are being used against your own citizens.
And on the other hand, you are just plating the internal security situation. What kind of framework you are trying to build? I mean, I'm just amazed to see your professional capabilities. One side,
you are the one who are talking about India saying toxically that we will not play in Pakistan. You want Indians to come and play over there. Why?
On our own land.
No one's going to fall for this ridiculous trap of ours. First of all, you don't crack down on terror, and then you want us to come and play in this Pakistan, where you're killing your own citizens. You're killing your own citizens, and you want others to come and play cricket in such a terrorist situation there.
It's
amazing. Hats off to you. Hats off to your logic. Hats off to you, sir.
Your own team.
Madhav.
Have you got my point?
No, what is your point? You want people to come and kill themselves.
This game, the dirty politics of the sports is initiated by India.
How?
When it comes to India, then you have all the justification. But when our
let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you the difference. Now, hold on to your thought. Since you're putting this on India, Dr. Rahman, India did not shake hands. India gave a very dignified response in the post-match presentation, which Pakistan ran away from with its tails between its legs. It does not have the guts to even articulate itself on international platform. That is why your people resort to these cheap, pathetic tactics. That's the kind of situation that exists. Is there even a comparison there?
Yeah, when you people use the politics as the dirty tool, the sports.
What is the dirty tool, sir?
Politics, then it is completely having a justification.
Are you saying this is how gentleman's game is going to be played? Bring in Major Samarpal Toor. Major Toor, is there even a comparison to be drawn here? Indian cricketers have, in the spirit of the gentleman's game, taken a certain position, but not stooped down to these cheap, pathetic tactics.
Madhav, good evening, and good evening to all the panelists. Being a sports person, you are a role model, you are an example to the society, beginning from toddlers to young children to adults who aspire to get selected on merit to represent the country at an international stage. You are an ambassador of your nation. Whatever smallest of gestures you do is noticed by the youngest kid to an adult and is thereafter spoken about, not only for that instant but for a number of months or years. Now these images will haunt Pakistan Cricket Board for a very long time. The Pakistan cricketer whom you see on TV right now, who's mimicking a gesture of a weapon. So you talk about sports and you mimic weapons? What message are you trying to give out to the young child of Pakistan and India? Are you trying to spread harmony? Are you trying to spread friendship, or are you trying to instill fear and trauma? Are you trying to make them recall what happened on 22nd April? Is this the sadist mindset of two adults who were respected as sportsperson? This is how low you have stooped. And Rizwanji, you are a sports editor. You should be speaking for the PCB by condemning these cricketers for their actions. I am not justifying. I am not justifying. मैं ये भी नहीं justify कर रहा हूँ that the Indian cricketers.
Your century in this manner. Your former captain MS Dhoni, he has celebrated in the similar manner.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Rizwanji. But MS Dhoni did not celebrate it during a terrorist attack or during a time when war has taken place between India and Pakistan and tensions are high. The relations between both the countries are at the lowest, and only sports is the only hope and means for both the countries to come together. And this is how you reciprocate and respond.
It depends on the timing that when
you are forgetting
this manner.
आप शहीद अफरीदी के comments भूल रहे हो. The radical comments that he gave during Op Sindoor.
Absolutely. And there's a history to this. There's a history to the kind of from trying to preach and the PCB. Once again, let me just bring this in. Because there's a history to this kind of jihadi mindset. There's a history to this. And in fact, Rizwan Haider, you should come in on this. We all know what happened in West Indies about a decade and a half ago, where there was actually a PCB order for players to stop going around preaching. That's what they're busy doing rather than focusing on cricket. Why don't they just focus on the cricket, on the game at hand, instead of behaving like imbeciles on field and making a complete fool of themselves internationally?
Well, majors have talked about the politics and the sports and what the sportsmen they should do, their every single action being monitored and the people they learn. But the Indian government, they should have not forced Indian cricketers to say the things which they said in the press conference.
How do you know Indian government forced them? How do you know Indian government forced them?
Yeah, obviously.
How do you know? Cricketers don't have a mind of their own.
Himself, your captain said it in the press conference.
Yeah, so he could have said it of his own volition. How do you know the Indian government forced him? Kuch bhi. Kuch bhi bol do.
If you're not aware, that's your fault. I follow cricket. I know everything what I'm saying.
Oh, you know everything about the Indian government also. Wonderful.
He mentioned in the press conference.
What is obvious here? Justify the word obvious.
And he mentioned Operation Sindoor and stuff like that. Okay, fine. If you don't want to shake hands, it's fine.
Sushil Pandit, what is so obvious? What is so obvious? I don't understand. Why the word obvious?
Does not make sense.
You see,
Vedam committee as well.
Someone, it's very difficult even for the most committed apologist of this kind of cricket, this kind of behavior. It's very difficult to rationalize it. He's trying to wriggle. You've pinned him down and he's clutching at words and excuses. This is nothing but, word salad that he's trying to offer you as some kind of justification. Indian government doesn't care at all. In fact, be lucky that we are playing with Pakistan. Nation doesn't want this cricket team to have anything to do with Pakistani cricket. That's why we didn't shake hands. That's why we didn't interact. So don't make a nuisance of yourself and make it worse for yourself.
Yeah, Vedam, you want to quickly respond to Rizwan? He says it's obvious that the Indian government has forced the hand of Surya Kumar Yadav to say this. How he knows that, I don't know. None of us know that for sure.
Yeah, Madhav, when the Indian government gave permission to Indian cricket team to play against Pakistan, I was one of the people who were dead against it. I was wondering why we want to go and play against Pakistan and fill their coffers. If they play against us, they fill their coffers. But what I really realized is it's a very good thing that the Indian government allowed this team to go and play, because it has shown Pakistan in such poor light on and off the field. They are now trying to set a narrative which is trying to take the heat of their continuous defeats.
Right.
Things about 10-0 or 11-0 defeats that they have suffered in the last few years. The government, the Pakistani narrative, or they are trying to deflect attention from their constant defeats. But it is being so badly and pathetically.
Absolutely. Dr. Atikur Rahman, though, I must ask you a question, sir. I must ask you a question. Dr. Atikur Rahman, after the battering by the Indian Air Force, what is the status of the rebuilding of the Noor Khan Air Base? Is it ready yet?
What kind of things you are talking about?
No, you must tell us, sir, since you know so much about 6-0, tell us a little about 20-0 also.
Secured. The base is purely secured. It is operational. I don't know what kind of move you are.
It is operational, are you sure?
It is functioning.
Because that's breaking news, sir. Someone from Pakistan telling us it's operational fully.
It's a safe place. Your media is just manipulating the thing. Just remember what you think. Just what kind of reporting you are doing during that?
I'm asking you a question because you are in Pakistan. You are giving us breaking news on live television.
You have just captured the sea. You have just captured the Lahore. The entire world have seen the real face of your disinformation that you were doing since last.
Sir, don't even make me open my mouth about how much of a fool your defense minister made of himself on international television. What Khwaja Asif said, what you were doing at US's bidding and that dirty work, the whole world knows. Let's leave it there. Sushil Pandit, Vedam Jaishankar, Major Samar Paltu, Rizwan Haider, Dr. Atikur Rahman, thanks so much for joining us on debate number 1.